The High School Sports Beat is brought to you by Alfred State College, where within 6 months of graduating, an astonishing 99% are working or furthering their studies. At Alfred State, they stress project-based learning, where students work on real-world problems and learn how to think, not what to think. Visit alfredstate.edu.
Sports. It's who we are. It's what we do. It's how we roll. It's wins and losses, highs and lows. It's effort, respect, and dedication. The High School Sports Beat. Sports. It's who we are.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us on the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College. I'm Dave Yates. We begin our look at Section 5 sports this week with our opening story, brought to you by Sticky Lips Barbecue and Juke Joint. Sticky Lips Barbecue Juke Joint, New York State's largest barbecue restaurant right here in Rochester. See our menu and live music calendar at StickyLipsBBQ.com. Sticky Lips BBQ, Jefferson Road in Henrietta. We start this week with a story from the summer and a Little League team in Greece that paid homage to fallen heroes. The Greece Tornadoes each wore the name of a soldier from Western New York who lost their life in defense of our country.
What started with a parent's suggestion hatched a plan to honor fallen soldiers.
Good play, Tyler.
Nice, there we go.
The Greece Tornadoes travel baseball team dedicated its 2019 season to local military men and women who have given the greatest sacrifice.
Personally, what does it mean to you to be able to wear that name on your back?
It's just, we want to give our thanks to everyone that serves in the military, currently or in the past. It just means a lot for us, for our freedom. And
I thought it was an honor because, it's incredible to play for somebody that passed away fighting for our country, And I talked to the family, and they were pretty sad when we had the game for the fallen soldier. And, that I just made them feel a lot better, and they felt better that I was representing their son.
I love representing it. It's a great cause just to put a smile on their face and represent a family's kid that represent our country. So I love it.
What has this whole gesture on your part meant to you personally to be able to put that name on your back?
Personally, it's been an honor being able to wear it every Sunday on a special day. It's just been honorable because there's many men and women that have lost their lives, and just being able to wear hers is very cool because I know the rock that had her face on it. Being able to see it and know that I have her name on my back is very memorable and emotional too.
knowing that what we do for them is it means a lot to them, and that means a lot to me too. She told me that the one thing about being a mother of a fallen soldier, she just hopes that nobody forgets who he is. And she said this stuff like this just reminds her that people are there and they remember, and it's a great feeling.
How the plan started?
So one of the kids on our team, Lucas, his dad's a veteran, and he came up with the idea of having soldiers' names on the back of our jersey. So I went home and I created the jersey right online and then shot it over to him, and his mom really was a big force in making it happen. She went and contacted a lot of people, Blue Star Mothers and the VFW, and it all just jumped from there.
We contacted the Blue Star Mothers. It's an organization with active members in the military, and they were actually our primary contact with the Gold Star Mothers. And the Gold Star Mothers and fathers are people who have actually lost somebody in a war. So we coordinated with them, and they really made it happen for us as far as getting permission from the families to represent their loved ones throughout the season. I was really taken aback by it. For a group of 16, 17, 18-year-old kids to come up with an idea like this is pretty special. So it was touching, and I think it's been great so far this year.
What it has meant to the players wearing the names on their jerseys?
I couldn't imagine going through that, losing they lost their father, unfortunately. But I couldn't imagine losing my dad. He's always there for me. But what they went through is absolutely astonishing to me, and where they are right now, I'm very happy to know him. So, personally, my cousin was a Marine. He was in the Marines. He made it out, which is great, and served in Afghanistan. but just to represent someone who fought for my country and fought for my freedom and allows me to play this great game every day, just puts a smile on my face and their face, and I love to do it.
Armani Malinka honored Staff Sergeant Nick Reed, the son of Ken and Dorothy Reed.
Well, we were very excited about it because it was just one more way that people would know that there's soldiers who have died from this area, so that we can all be out on a nice sunny day like today. So we were very pleased with that, yes.
It's an honor just to keep the memory of the soldiers alive and the fact that our military is all over the world protecting us. They have been so receptive. They have really honored us in ways that we didn't think was there, and it's so important because it's the young people. It's this generation that are learning about the history of our country right now. It's exciting.
History can be forgotten very quickly, and for these young men to do this meant that now they understand more about the history that has gone before them and the people that have gone before them.
And now it'll be a part of their history to carry on for their children, and therefore the history of our country.
They were telling me that their son, who I'm representing, was actually part of the bomb squad. And I thought that's very brave of him. And, it's crazy to do that.
The tribute to the fallen soldiers lasted throughout the summer. From the town of Greece, this is the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College.
Coming up next, Matt Trabold joins us for the Dunkin High School Notebook. We'll have that and more when the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College, returns.
This cinnamon sugar pumpkin latte looks amazing.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I wish I were this creative.
Oh, I'm not that creative.
Oh, wow. Did you just carve this?
I did, yeah.
Try our new signature latte. It's all things pumpkin at Dunkin.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College. I'm Dave Yates. It is time now for the High School Notebook, brought to you by Dunkin. America runs on Dunkin. And joining us once again this week, Matt Trabold. Matt, great to have you back.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, Matt, let's talk about a team in boys soccer that's making some noise, and it's been a while since they've been up at the top of Class C. Let's talk about East Rochester.
Yeah, so the Bombers have not won an outright title in Section 5 since 2004. So it is very surprising to a certain degree right now, 7-0 at the 1 month mark into the season, undefeated, and it's the Dom family getting it done. Again, they are at the forefront of what they do. You have the head coach, Mike Dom, used to be a Rochester Rhino. He is a big name. And then it's his sons. They're at the top of Section 5 scoring. You have 15 goals atop Section 5 for one of his sons in Chuck Dom. Only 7 games, so he leads in goals and in assists. It's Russell Dom. His other son, he's got 13 helpers in just as many games. So they are not just good for Class C1, but in terms of production, they are across the Section 5 landscape.
It's got to be a funny dinner conversation for them. I mean, they get done with practice and talk about how good things are going. That's got to be nice. But it's also, I mean, once you're talking soccer, you've got to have some balance as far as the scoring. Do they have that?
Absolutely. And they have plenty of other guys with a couple goals here, a couple goals there. And that balance, I think, is what can take them in terms of maybe state play if they are able to win Section 5 championship going on there. So that'll be something to watch if they can just be, besides those two guys, especially in net, neither of those guys are keepers. So that'll be very interesting to watch going forward.
All right, sounds good. Let's talk about one of the teams that's up in the top, and that's one of the Pittsford schools.
Yeah, so Pittsford Sutherland is one of those names synonymous. We were talking about the girls' side of things for them 1 week ago. And even though they've been a very big name, they haven't really had a golden era in terms of the program winning championships a lot in not so many years, since maybe the mid-1980s. But they won in 2017, and a big accomplishment right now for them, the last Monroe County team undefeated. That is a big deal. That is where the clout, usually in Section 5 soccer, is going to be. And their two main stars, in Will Bowen and Dylan Cladstrup, two of the most skilled guys in the entire section, in the entire state. Will Bowen, a bigger guy out there when in terms of the soccer game, and he really uses his size well. Cladstrup, not as big as Bowen, but he's so good at using a defender's contact against him, gets him on his back shoulder, able to score goals. Aiden Pellegrino, big coaching move. What they did was they moved him from the back line, and not just a wing back, but central defender, and now he's playing on attack, and it's been very productive so far, scoring the ball.
Now let's talk about girls. Let's talk about some of the bigger schools, and some of the teams are doing really well.
Yeah, Class AA, still a 1 month into the season, it's a big deal. They have 3 undefeated teams, which usually by now you would not be expecting that. And it's Penfield and Webster Schrader. These are 2 teams that were in the title game last year for Class AA, and they both, with Grace Murphy going to Providence for Penfield, she's going to be D1, and the other side D1 commit is Anna Hewlett for the Schrader Warriors. She is going to be going to the New Hampshire Wildcats. And you mix in Hilton, who is really led by a good junior class, and with Hilton, you expect boys soccer to be leading it, but the forefront of that school right now is the girls soccer team. So 3 right now atop. We shall see how long they keep undefeated.
Well, it's early, and when you have teams go out to that fast start, it's going to make for some exciting playoffs time. Matt, great stuff. Thanks. As always, we'll be back with more of the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College, right after this. Coming up next, the Making the Grade nominee with Kyle O'Gara, and later a sophomore quarterback leads the Griffins to a hot start. Well, that story with the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College, continues.
Welcome back, and thank you for watching the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College. Hit the ground running at alfredstate.edu. I'm Kyle O'Gara. Wegmans is a proud supporter of Making the Grade, which highlights the accomplishments of Section 5 student athletes on and off the playing field. Making the Grade this week is Churchville Chi-Li Jr. Sam Lyon. Sam is a track and field, cross-country, and indoor track runner for the Saints and has been running since middle school. Sam has been recognized as a Team Scholar athlete every semester since he started high school and maintains a 98.5 average. Outside of class and running, Sam is described as an excellent leader by his coaches and often volunteers his time to help his church, peer tutor other classmates, and is a member of the pit band for Churchville Chi-Li. This week, Sam Lyon is Making the Grade. If you have a student in mind for our Making the Grade segment, we want your nominations. Send them into mtg@rocksportsnow.com. And now here's Dave with the McArdle Section 5 Spotlight.
Thanks, Kyle. Here are some of the athletes, teams, and coaches making news in this week's Section 5 Spotlight, brought to you by McArdle's in Fairport. Come home to McArdle's. Congrats to Churchville Chi-Li girls soccer coach Mimi Reg for winning her 100th game for the Saints. Mimi is also in the Saints Athletic Hall of Fame as a 4-sport athlete and played Division I soccer at Penn State. Mason Ferrara from HFL ran for 254 yards and 4 touchdowns for the Cougars in a huge win over Batavia, 41-7. Ferrara, a senior, helped HFL avenge last year's sectional loss to the Blue Devils. And finally, Rush Henrietta's Jared Gerbino led Dartmouth to an opening game victory, beating Jacksonville 35-6. Gerbino, a senior, threw for 2 TDs and also ran 6 times for 28 yards. Well, coming up next, Uprep football is undefeated and led by a sophomore quarterback. We'll have his story when the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College, continues.
And now to Eichel. He floated one. Score!
Hello, everybody, and thanks once again for joining us on the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College. I'm Dave Yates. Clyde Davis Jr. is a sophomore for the Uprep football team, and this season he's the starting QB. That's a lot of pressure to put on a young man, but Clyde handles it with ease, just like how he's overcome a birth defect to become a team leader for the Griffins. Watching Clyde Davis Jr. at quarterback, and you see a kid with all the tools. He can throw, he can run, he can manage the game. Look closer though and you notice something that makes what he does and how well he does it even more impressive. Clyde was born with only 2 fingers on his left hand, something that might keep others from even attempting what he does. But for Clyde, it's never held him back, and something that he really doesn't give a second thought to.
Really, I just use it to the advantage. You can't have a downfall on how you start your life and how you gonna play out the way you gonna do things, and I just use it to the advantage and make the best of it.
And he has. I mean, a lot of people look at him and say, well, this is the guy Clyde, he only has, 7 fingers or 8 fingers, whatever you want to call it. But he will tell you that he doesn't have a disability. He was born that way and he's adjusted. And that's the story of life. You have to, Stevie Wonder didn't just settle at being blind. You know what I mean? And he's not Stevie Wonder, of course, but I like it. I like his attitude. Like, he doesn't see himself as having a disability at all. So we don't call it a disability. He just enjoys trying to do with what he's been blessed with, the best to the best of his ability.
As far as a disability, it's really not. I saw him playing basketball when I first got here. He was one of the only 2 freshmen that made the JV team on basketball, with his hand. Yeah, he dribbles with it, plays basketball, and obviously plays football with it now. So something that he worked on a lot when he was younger, obviously, to be able to use and work his way around it. In terms of quarterback play, I saw an athlete that no one really taught how to throw, properly, and he had a decently strong arm, just throwing without his lower body, up just really his arm. So I just took him aside, really started teaching him, and he's the type of kid that if you tell him one thing once, he'll never forget it.
Not only does he not shy away from a challenge, Clyde also isn't afraid of hard work, both on and off the field.
When you have a kid like that, it means he's a student in the game too, and he just wants to be good. So he's the one that's going to be the first one in, the first one out. When I first got here, the beginning of camp, that's the first thing I learned about him, is that he's just very resilient again. But he's one of the first ones in the building. Film study, he's on it. He'll text me in the middle of the night like, "Hey, coach, what am I looking at on this?" And I'm like, "Hey, you looking at this?" So we'll literally be on the phone on huddle, at night, just trying to go over the game plan, but also his play.
He's certainly a leader. He's a captain on this team. And he's learning. He's learning because this team comes with some returning seniors and juniors. So, it's a little bit of culture shock for him. But he's in a leadership position. So it doesn't really matter what grade you're in. If you're in a leadership position like quarterback, your hand's touching the ball at every play. And he's learning and he's going to grow from it. I love to see what happens in a couple years.
Clyde might take his birth defect in stride, but it's something that he knows other kids might look at as inspirational.
Yeah, it's kind of like with me, if he could do it, then I know I could do it. And if I could do it, then they know they could do it. So it's just all the mental push and mental toughness.
He's someone that if I was a kid, I would emulate. If I was a younger kid, I'd emulate. Obviously, he's only a sophomore, but he's one of the smartest kids in our school, over a 95 GPA. Never gets in trouble. Teachers and other coaches rave about him. He's just a great kid overall. So, yeah.
This Griffins team is one that can beat you in a lot of ways. It's a veritable pick your poison for opposing defenses, and the coach knew that from day one.
When you looked at this squad before you guys hit the field the first time, what did you see as the potential for this club?
I smiled. I was happy. We got 4 or 5 guys speed-wise. So I know that, we got a pretty good team. I felt like we could make a run if we got through the first half of the season. We got the 2 games now, and now we got to continue to keep the foot on the gas. So I'm pleased with what we have, but I'm not, just going to stop and settle there. We're still going to work the guys.
Me and my brother were actually talking about recently, and he was like, "Hey, from a defensive standpoint, if I was scheming, where's Waldo? You don't know where it's coming from. It's coming all different angles." So that is fun. You got a ton of athletes, and the name of the game is just getting them the ball in space and let them do what they do.
Oh yeah, we got receivers, tight ends, the running backs can do whatever they want, get them in space. They make touchdowns, plays. It's just a whole lot of fun controlling the offense.
Goss sees this year's group as special, and he's hoping they are starting to lay the groundwork for Uprep football to become a program that other schools can look to as a way to do things right. And that starts with hard work.
It's a culture shock. It is different. But that's the thing, I want to build a program here. Not just settle on 1 or 2 great players a team. We build a program of weapons at every position, and we plan to utilize every position as a weapon. So there's not really one position you could focus on, and if you do that well, then we're going to try to attack in other ways. So I want to make sure all the guys understand that.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, especially Alfred State College, for making the Sports Beat possible. We'd also like to thank the athletes, teams, and coaches in Section 5. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here again next week.